I'm Jodi Bonassi. I'm an LA artist. I was born in Boyle Heights, so I'm really LA, and raised in the Fairfax district. The museum had called me, and I've been around since 1991 exhibiting, and this is a retrospective that they wanted to do about my work between 1998 to the present that encompassed the valley settings and places that I sketched to create paintings from, you know, the people and places of communal settings. The title of the show is Public Settings, Private Conversations, meaning that I go into these public settings that I have an interest to investigate, and I listen to the stories and I create the stories in pencil and paint. This is Snespers. It was created in 2010. You can see my son here. This is actually him as a baby in his chest. I had returned to Cal State University Northridge in 2010 to complete a BA degree. And what this work encompasses is all the places that I've sketched at throughout the years. There's Pedro's Barbershop, which was a place in the valley. I don't know if it's there anymore. I used to hang out at a chess players cafe in Tarzana, and when that closed, all these people moved to the Fallbrook Mall to continue playing chess and having coffee. This is also encompasses a lot of stores, kind of Ventura Boulevard and the mountains, and you know, here's me sitting in a chair drawing because I take my sketch pad with me wherever I go. This is Dewdrop Inn, and it's based on the feeling of to please come into my world. And my world is very complicated. I use a lot of ephemera, meaning memories from my life. There's Jacob's Barbershop, just a little bit of Jacob's. I did a lot of barbershop paintings, and then after I started doing barbershop paintings, I found out that my grandfather was a barber, and I didn't know that. And someone sent me some old photos, so I did a lot of paintings about Grandpa Jake. I love sweets, so you know, and pizza. Here's pizza and whipped cream, of course. It's really a painting about a philosophy of life. And then it's really also a painting about the rich and the poor and the middle people. You know, here's Silver Spoon, you know, a girl with the silver spoon reading a book called The Silver Spoon, and there are people eating pizza with whipped cream, so nothing quite makes sense completely. This is actually taken from some of the references from the Topanga Mall. People have asked me a lot about why I do checkered floors, and the why I'm not sure about. I've always been fascinated by pattern, and for me the checks are very relaxing to do, and it's almost a feeling that because the world is so overwhelming at times and hard to understand, that maybe if I do enough checks I can just kind of, and these checks go into nowhere, that I can, if they go into this world, I could just jump into this world that I'm painting, that if I do enough checks I can jump into the painting and escape. This is Dewdrop Inn 2. It really was created after I went back to Cal State University Northridge, and I was working on a painting for another exhibit in LA. This is a mix of my father and my grandfather's together. Here we've got Time Star, which was from a barbershop, and the pharmacy. My dad used to own a pharmacy, so I kind of mixed really old memories in with new. I'm not a chess player, but I look at people that we're all in this big chess game, and we're like pawns being moved around a board, and these are all the people on the board. You know, this is part of life, is where do you move and what can you do and what can't you do. And the feeling of we're in life, we've got all these stories and all the conversations, so that's what the work is about. These are the chess players at the Chess Players Cafe in Tarzana that I used to go to. I was really fascinated by the idea of all these people sitting quietly and playing chess and having coffee. And I was this invisible force. They didn't mind my being there at all. This is Uncle Mike's, which is no longer there, but it's an interesting story. This was back in 1998, and I walked in there with my son, and I just became inspired because Uncle Mike was the gangster of the valley. No one really knew if it was for real or not, but he loved that persona. He played gin rummy and all by the door every day, and everybody loved him. In the earthquake in Northridge, he actually provided free pizza to everyone in the park. All my work in the last year is about LA and the Orange Line and the LA art scene. And I kind of mix it all together. And this is a woman that frequents the Orange Line. I named her Cookie. I don't know if that was her name. And she had a lot of monsters. And I'm noticing for this new work, like an Instadream here and Cookie, I use a lot of creatures and monsters, which I normally don't do. But I just fell into it because the Metro is very varied in the type of people that travel. There's business people, homeless people, students, families, and there's a lot of different energies that I'm mixing into the work. I saw this beautiful young man on the Orange Line, and he was happy, and he was just kind of dreamy, and I just felt like he had all these wonderful people around him, but yet right in front of him was this very angry older guy, and so I loved that mix and that conflict of energies. So I created a painting about him. I started sketching him and started sketching him with my sketch pad. It's a story. It's a story about hopes and dreams. This is the birthday party, and I was really intrigued in this moment that I was watching. This is my neighborhood. My son grew up, these are the Valley kids, and he grew up in a culture of diversity, which is wonderful. These are Chris and Caitlin from across the street and the twins, and really what it is about the gift. There's always a hierarchy, and the reason I did the painting was because I was interested in how we quickly have a hierarchy. You know, Caitlin in the forefront here is crying because she's not the first. She was not selected first as the gift. She wanted her gift to be the first gift that he would open up, and she wasn't selected. And I think that's what we learn in life, who's going to be first, who's going to be second. Of course, this is Chris's gift, so he's the winner, so he's got this secure feeling about his gift is going to be opened first. And I think it's the idea that the kids are looking at my son to see if what they're giving is valuable.